Hello and welcome to my body language top 10 myths. Let's get these top 10 body language myths thoroughly busted. And I've saved the best to last, so wait for number 10. So let's go. Number 1, crossed arms and crossed legs always equal close to new ideas. No, they don't. That can just be the way that somebody's comfortably sitting. Now, if somebody crosses their arms at exactly the right time that you present an idea, and they also scowl and give you disgust, then maybe. But notice that's part of a cluster of behaviors at a particular time, not just the way somebody sits. Number 2, liars don't make eye contact. Yes, they do, because guess who also knows that rule? Liars. The clue, though, to deception, when liars who do know that rule, is they try and overdo the eye contact, not doing it at all. Number 3, eye accessing clues. When people are remembering details, they look up to their left, and when they're creating details, i.e. deceiving, they look up to their right. Nonsense. No truth to it whatsoever. Just a few miles from where I'm standing, Professor Richard Wiseman at University of Hertfordshire carried out a detailed scientific study to see if he could find any correlation with deception and the way the eyes moved. Guess what? Zero evidence of it whatsoever. None. Busted scientifically. Seriously, not true. Number 4, deception tells always mean deception. As much as we all like to think of ourselves as deception sleuths, and deception is a fascinating topic, I've even got a whole section on it in Body Language Decoder. Deception tells can also, and very often are, a sign of stress, not necessarily deception. You've got to be much more careful about jumping to conclusions about whether people are actually deceiving you. Deception expert Joe Navarro gave a wonderful example of this in one of his talks. Check him out on LinkedIn and Twitter, where a woman he was convinced was actually lying, was only nervous about her parking ticket that was about to run out. It's a brilliant story, a brilliant example of how deception tells do not always equal deception. They can be a sign of stress instead. Number 5, the Pinocchio myth. You noticed me touching my nose earlier? The Pinocchio myth. The people touch their nose when they're being deceptive. Again, Joe Navarro, deception expert, busted this one. So there's no correlation between people touching their nose when they're actually being deceptive. However, there is some evidence that people do touch their faces more. And that's because of a stress response, which draws the blood from the extremities of the body to the core. And that sudden withdrawal of blood from the facial area can make the face a little bit tingly or itchy. So people can touch their faces, but not necessarily just their nose. Number 6, hands in pockets is somehow better than using your hands. I can't tell you the number of people who I've talked to have put their hands in their pockets. And I said, why? And they said, somebody once told me to put my hands in my pockets because that was better than gesticulating with my hands. No, it's not. It looks too casual. People start playing with coins in their pockets. Don't. I don't care what you're doing with your hands. I can't imagine that it's worse than the perception created by putting your hands in your pockets. So no, putting your hands in your pockets is not a good body language option. For all else, have them by your sides. They don't have to be in your pockets if you're not going to gesticulate with them in any way, shape, or form. Number 7. I love this one. Adopting new body language behaviors. Doing things with my hands or my face or my posture won't be natural. Therefore, it won't be authentic. Hate that word in this context. Authentic body language behavior? Really? When you were born with 5 innate behaviors that the doctors test you for as a baby. Every single behavior from that point is learned. We learn our behavior, consistently updating and changing our behavior. The idea that your body language is fixed and now doing something else is being inauthentic is nonsense. We're completely learning. Unless, of course, you decide to shut down. You're finished learning and you don't want to learn anything new about how your body can help you represent yourself better. Number 8. Body language is universal. It always means the same thing with all people in all contexts all over the world. No, it doesn't. Body language can be cultural. It can also be very specific to a particular situation and is always contextual. Body language is like a subtle art. Yes, there are those core building blocks, but being able to put them together correctly to represent a true picture, that takes a little bit of time, effort, and expertise. And rarely it's a tick box exercise. You got to look at a much broader picture. Number 9, individual tells are definitive. Deception tells, like a gestural slip, nodding when saying yes. Being able to zero in on one thing and go, ha, that one thing means this. You talk to any body language expert worth their salt, and they'll talk about you need to see clusters, a number of things that would all point in the same direction. That happens a lot around deception. They also need to be repeated and timely. It's when they're repeated. Is somebody doing a particular thing at a particular moment consistently? Then and only then can you start to draw some logical conclusions about what that body language might mean. It's rare that one thing done once is definitive. Yeah, it's part of the picture. So body language is not definitive. And the last one, number 10, my favorite. It's even called the Moravian myth. How many of us have heard the communication meaning? 55% is our body language, 38% is our voice, and 7% is our words. Get it? No way. It's absolute rubbish. And guess who's the main person who says it's rubbish? Moravian himself. One piece of his research was taken, I think it was only 200 people it was done on, a very small sample for a very specific experiment. But somehow this has become true. It's the urban legend that 55% of communication is through our body language. Now, sometimes when we're communicating, it's a lot. It's possibly in the high 80s or 90s. I mean, how would you possibly manage this or measure this anyway? Like first impressions. Human beings are primarily visual. Then we start speaking and the level will drop. It's a constantly moving thing. One word or one phrase can become the thing that forms somebody's impression. Yes, body language is important, but no, it's not. 55% is a constant of your communication. So those are 10 body language myths seriously busted. For what is true about your body language, check out Body Language Decoder or my video course, Body Language Mastery, to find out what can be used, what is provable, what is observable out there in the world from the world's top communicators that I've spent the last 20 years studying, coaching, refining, all to find out about how to use your body language much more effectively. I look forward to sharing more tools and techniques with you in those mediums, and for any one-to-one or team coaching, please do get in touch about how to use your body language to increase your impact and increase your chances of success. Bye for now.